Welcome to AudiVation. We will explore a new book today. Let's start. Picture this. You're 24 years old, standing on the edge of a cliff on a sunlit Ibiza morning. The world around you is beautiful, alive, and thriving. But inside your mind, a storm is raging. You're consumed by an unshakable despair, a weight so unbearable that you're contemplating whether life is worth living. This is how Matt Haig begins his deeply personal journey in Reasons to Stay Alive. It's not a story of instant transformation or cliched solutions. It's raw, vulnerable, and achingly real. Through his words, Matt brings us into his world of battling depression and anxiety. A world many of us have felt, but few talk about openly. Today, we'll take you on this journey. A journey of despair, hope, and ultimately, survival. Reasons to Stay Alive isn't just Matt's story. It's a lifeline for anyone who's ever felt lost in their own mind. Matt's battle with mental illness began suddenly and fiercely. One day, he was just another young man, full of potential, dreams, and a life ahead of him. The next, he was consumed by panic attacks, overwhelmed by a sense of doom so profound that it robbed him of the will to live. He describes depression not as sadness, but as an absence, a hollowing out of joy, connection, and meaning. It's that numbness where you don't just feel down when things go wrong. You stop feeling anything at all. And then there's anxiety, like a tide of fear that rushes in, relentless and overpowering, making even the simplest tasks feel insurmountable. Together they create a storm so fierce that it leaves you stranded in the darkest corners of your own mind. But here's the thing. Even at his lowest point, some part of him held on. A tiny, fragile voice whispered to him, "Just stay. Stay a little longer. You might find something worth living for." That whisper became his lifeline, a thread of hope pulling him through the darkness. Matt's recovery wasn't a straight path. There wasn't one miraculous moment that healed him, but instead, a collection of small, fleeting moments of hope. These moments, no matter how tiny, became his anchors when despair threatened to sweep him away. One of those moments came through books. Reading became his escape, his solace, and his guide. Words on a page reminded him that others had walked through darkness too, and they had survived. Stories showed him he wasn't alone, and that realization was like a light piercing through the fog. And then there was love. Andrea, Matt's partner, stood by him through everything. When Matt couldn't see his own worth, she saw it for him. Her love didn't erase his pain, but it gave him a reason to fight. Love, he realized, isn't a cure. It's more like a compass. It points you back to life when you feel lost. As Matt began to rebuild his life, he found himself learning lessons he wanted to share. One of the most important was this: depression is a liar. It tells you that you're worthless, that the pain will never end, and that nothing will ever get better. But Matt reminds us, those thoughts are not truths. They are clouds passing through your mind. And just as clouds shift and change, so too can your life. He talks about how, in the depths of depression, your world shrinks. Everything feels impossible, like the walls are closing in. But over time, he learned to widen his view, to see beyond the immediate pain. He realized that life is vast, unpredictable, and full of potential, even when it doesn't feel that way in the moment. Recovery, Matt tells us, isn't about returning to the person you were before depression. It's about discovering a new version of yourself. He shares the strategies that helped him navigate his hardest days. For him, it was about breaking time into smaller, manageable pieces. Sometimes, he explains, you just have to make it to the next minute, then the next hour, then the next day. Slowly but surely, those small increments added up to survival, and eventually, to healing. Another crucial insight was learning to embrace imperfection. He realized that there's no such thing as normal. Normal is subjective, it's personal. He reminds us, there are 7 billion versions of normal on this planet, and yours is just as valid as anyone else's. Matt's journey is filled with profound insights that feel like lifelines. You are not your mind. Your thoughts may tell you stories of despair, but you are not bound to them. They are visitors, not your identity. Happiness is not something to chase endlessly, but something to notice in the small, fleeting moments. A warm cup of tea, the sound of rain, a favorite song. Those moments are worth cherishing. We need each other. Humans are wired for connection. It's the relationships we build and the kindness we share that keep us anchored. One day, the pain you feel right now might become something useful, a lesson, a story, or even a source of strength. You'll look back and be glad you didn't give up. And most importantly, he reminds us, it's okay to accept your thoughts, even the dark ones, but don't let them define you. You are more than your pain. Over time, Matt discovered the power of gratitude. He learned to find joy in the smallest things, a sunny day, a kind smile, a good book. Those little moments became reasons to stay, reasons to keep going. And he realized, sometimes it's the smallest things that carry the most meaning. Reasons to Stay Alive isn't just a memoir, it's a lifeline, a map, a companion for anyone walking through their own darkness. It says, you are not alone, you are not broken. For anyone battling depression or anxiety, it's a reminder that their feelings are valid, but they don't have to define them. For those supporting loved ones, it's a guide to understanding and empathy. And for everyone else, it's a call to break the silence around mental health and build a world where it's okay to not be okay. In the end, Matt leaves us with a simple but powerful message. Stay. Stay for the sunsets you haven't seen yet, the songs you haven't heard, the people you haven't met. Stay for the laughter, the tears, the moments that remind you what it means to be alive. Takeaways from this book echo deeply. Recovery isn't about erasing pain. It's about learning to live alongside it. It's a process of finding strength in vulnerability and beauty in imperfection. Matt teaches us that life is not a straight path, but a mosaic of moments, some dark, some light, that come together to form a picture worth seeing. He encourages us to hold on to hope, no matter how small. Hope can be found in the sound of the rain, the taste of coffee, or the hug of a friend. It reminds us that our worst days do not define us, and the future holds possibilities we can't yet see. Life, with all its chaos and beauty, is worth it. So breathe. Take it one day at a time. Hold on to the small joys, lean on the people who care, and remember, brighter days are always ahead. You are not alone, and you are always enough. Stay well, my friend.